Welcome to the Three Man Weave Best Bet Show. Here we are, Saturday, heading into the holiday break. Jim and Kai only. Jim very festive in his Christmas sweater. Kai's got a spinny hat, per usual. And then there's Matt. Matt is in the middle, dressed as Yoshi. It's a still photo of Matt because Matt forgot that he had a flight during this time. And that's classic Matt, if you know Matthew Cox. Jim, yes? Uh-huh. Yeah, he goes, okay, if everything goes to plan and no delays happen on December 23rd, flying in the morning, I should be able to barely make the show in time. But alas, here we are. But we can too manage it. Not a huge slate today. I imagine with the chat mob questions that we're going to hit literally every single game on the slate, and that's just fine. We like to do that here. First off, oh, Jim's muted, it says Lake Show. I don't like that. I hear you, Jim. Tell you what, there's a weird thing every day. Try again, Jim.
Kai, how about now? I guess we don't know. We'll have to have the chat confirm, but otherwise, you're going to have to riff a lot on this episode.
Oh man, golly, goodness gracious! I don't know why it's not picking up. Sorry, Phil. This is the live show. Did you guys hear Jim that time? Jim, try again.
Testing, testing, 3, 4, 5, 6. Matt's travel issues are self-inflicted, etc. Okay, we're back.
Okay, good. Sorry, guys. Apologies. Okay, we're good to go now. Just takeaways, real quick. Of course, my takeaway is going to be about bragging rights. Mizzou, Illinois, not the best showing for the Missouri Tigers. Bad again. Horrible. Bad shooting. I don't know. Illinois is very good, though, Jim. To be fair, Underwood also seems to adore his team. So both things can be true. Mizzou looked horrible, not that great. Illinois is also very good.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you could say, oh, if Mizzou made more shots, they'd been closer to in it, but it's not like Illinois shot the lights out. It was
Right.
just transition destruction. Kind of a bad game plan by Mizzou, I would argue. They just kind of let Illinois run, and you can't do that. But whatever. Kai thought about flipping the flag upside down, going back to that old bit, but I didn't make the effort. Another quick takeaway is that UCLA is like,
Mm,
I don't know if they even have NCAA tournament upside right now.
yeah.
Losing at home to Maryland, last real chance in the non-conference for anything significant, meaningful. That's out the door. Now you had the Pac-12 play where, like, I know Arizona's a big win, but there's not a lot of like great Q1 opportunities there, especially at home. So I think UCLA is in massive, massive trouble. And Matt's preseason prediction of NIT is it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, he's doing little victory laps in the sky right now, Matthew, I'm sure, with UCLA. Yeah, he was right. Turns out international guys that are projected to be top 10, top 15 draft picks don't always pan out immediately in college. Huh, what a concept. Okay, let's get into the show. The rundown is in the description to the video. I will add timestamps. Well, that's a lie. I probably won't today. I just don't have a pen and paper next to me. Oh well. FAU versus Arizona is where we're going to start. Best game of the day. It's in Vegas. Jim, extremely fun matchup between two balanced teams, two very up tempo teams. Where do you see this one?
Yeah, situational stuff is pretty balanced as well, Kai. FAU more well rested, but they've got the long travel out to Vegas, and the crowd is definitely going to be pro Arizona. Man, Zona is coming off this ridiculous schedule gauntlet where they played Wisconsin and gosh, I'm forgetting all the teams. Alabama, they're just coming off
Yeah,
that one.
Purdue.
Now they go to Vegas, and it feels like the end of I don't know, there could be like a a sigh effort, but I think it's going to be super up tempo. I think there's going to be a lot of points. I definitely lean towards the over here, Kai. It's been bet up a tad. Not shocking there, but I mean, Arizona and Alabama played 80 possessions. There was just super cold shooting on both
Yeah.
sides. Otherwise, that would have gone over.
Mhm.
I kind of think we see that here. And then just the big mismatch to me is Keyshawn Johnson. He's been terrific lately. And we've seen FAU can't guard those four men. Look at that the Illinois game for no further evidence of
Yeah.
Damas going nuts. So I definitely lean Arizona here too, Kai. I think it's going to be tough for FAU to hang around, but they always seem to. So not betting that and bigger lean to the over.
Yeah, definitely a watch, don't bet game for me. Obviously, Arizona has an enormous size advantage. That really hasn't stopped FAU before. They're savvy. extremely well coached. They work together as well as any team in the country. It's also really hard to step in front of Arizona right now, Jim. Outside of that Purdue game, they've covered every single game. Their cover margin is nearly 9 points per contest. That's extremely high, almost impossible. They're kind of pulling a UConn a bit from last season in the non-con. I kind of think Dusty's going to try to slow things down here, maybe deploy some zone looks.
Ooh.
I mean, I would do that if I was a coach, and Dusty's a fantastic coach. Rebounding a concern here, but I think it's going to be a shootout still. Again, just a watch game for me, not a bet game. All right, Mississippi, the exact opposite. Mississippi State and Rutgers is where we're going next.
Ooh, it's a bet, not watch.
It is, well, no, it's an
I thought that's
aesthetically
what you meant by opposite. I thought that's what you meant by opposite.
instead of an aesthetically pleasing game like FAU Arizona, it's going to be a physical battle royale, gross, bring your lunch pail to work type of game. It's in Newark. That's a semi-home, I guess, spot for Rutgers. I wouldn't really give too much for that just because the rack is the
Ooh,
rack. Are you giving
but they
some, Jim?
did they did win on this court 2 weeks ago against Seton
Oh,
Hall. This
okay.
very this
Some
very court.
familiarity.
Yeah.
Two top 10, excuse me, two top 15 defenses. Two teams that can stagnate offensively. Though Miss State has been better this year. What do you think?
It's crazy, Kai. I think everybody's gonna look at this and think under immediately. I
Yeah.
sort of like the over. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't like that it's an early tip. That does bug me. I think you can get the sluggish start where it's like 10-8 after 9 minutes, and you're like, why did I bet the over?
Yeah.
But I do lean that way. I think pace moves a little more than you think. Mississippi State can eat on the offensive glass here. And maybe the Bulldogs defense has some 3-point shooting regression coming. Although I think part of that, their low 3-point percentage against is their length and the way they can switch and really bother people. I've kind of been on Rutgers overs, Kai, and I hate it. It hasn't been that
Yeah.
fun, but I think it's actually been like 50-50. It's just every time you look at the score, it feels like a why did I do this bet?
Mhm.
Sidewise, though, I do slight lean to Rutgers, especially now that it's 3.5 instead of 2.5 or 3 where it was. Again, I think it matters a little bit that they played on this court. They've got less travel. There's some familiarity, some comfort, and Maywat Mag back in the lineup matters too. So I slightly into Rutgers here, Kai.
Yeah, Dagan's talking in the chat. Dagan, you can't talk about Seton Hall after beating Mizzou. How dare you?
Yeah,
Uh,
smacked our Tigers.
yeah, Mississippi State obviously needs to hit shots in this game. Rutgers, their interior defense, number 2 block rate in the country, number 8 2-point field goal percentage. Good luck scoring inside against them. But Mississippi State does have shooters this season. It's a different team. Trey Fort has been in and out of the lineup. I thought he was super important, at least in the beginning when we saw him live. I guess it's not a huge deal.
Yeah, it's the
But
Hubba Hubbard show now. It's the
Hubbard,
Hubba
he's
Hubbard show.
fantastic. The thing about shot blocking, though, which has gotten Rutgers in a bit of trouble this season, if you sell out for it, it leaves you open to offensive rebounding, and that's what Mississippi State kind of does. They feast there. I don't know how Rutgers scores at all. That's my concern for them. I actually kind of lean towards Mississippi State. 3.5, probably too far to go with that bet, but I lean the Bulldogs way, Jim.
Yeah, Rutgers beats Seton Hall. Seton Hall beats everybody, Kai. I don't know.
I
I don't
know.
know how
We're going
you.
to talk about Seton Hall very soon. Might be
Yep.
going the other way, but Dagan's in the chat again. I don't know if I want to go against him. Butler at Providence is our next game. Big East play. We got four Big East games on the rundown today. The dunk is real, Jim. I know they call it the amp, but it's always the dunk. And Providence has the talent edge here. We know there's maybe some travel issues for Butler today. What'd you find out on that?
Yeah, Butler was supposed to fly out yesterday. We're not able to due to mechanical issues, so they flew this morning. I think they got to the arena like 45 minutes ago or something. So not exactly the best, and you typically see the market hammer against that kind of thing.
Yep.
It did get up to like 6.5, but that's not too crazy to where it was early. I bid a little bit, Kai, half unit at -6 because the home court is amazing. Providence is ridiculous defensively. I saw a stat going around this morning that they have the #1 defense against top 150 net teams.
Hmm.
So, like you take Tennessee and Houston obliterating bad teams out of it, and suddenly Providence's defense looks amazing. Of course, most of those games for Providence are at home, but I do believe in the defense. Devin Carter's awesome. Their bigs are mobile. It just seems like maybe we don't get this A+ Butler effort to run up and down and an early tip. So I like the under, but took it at 141.5 and took a little bit of Providence -6. I don't mind that chat angle either first half on Providence.
Yeah, and weirdly, look, don't read into this too much, but Butler 1-0 in conference play, right? They're not it's a type of game where it's like, oh man, we just got out of the airport. It's at the dunk. We're already 1-0. If we lose this game, it's not a bad loss. Obviously, they have more motivation than that, but it is something you think about. Yeah, the Friar defense is for real.
Creeping,
It's
creeping
creeping in
into
there.
your mind. You're down
Yeah,
10. You're like, ah.
whatever. Yeah, Friar defense, number 8 in the country per Ken Palm. So much length, so much athleticism. You mentioned Carter. He's a glove. Uh, we mentioned Rutgers. I mentioned Rutgers interior defense. Providence, number 6, 2-point field goal percentage defense. That translates, that carries, that's huge. Butler does have a ton of wing size, but Providence is one of those teams I think that can really match it. I think the Friars win by double digits here. I like Providence quite a bit.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm sure Providence fans are screaming. Like, how can you mention the defense and not mention Duval? I'll mention Duval.
yeah, sure.
He's a
Yeah, DeWalt's
ridiculous defender also.
fantastic
Yep.
too. Yeah. Yeah, I like Providence there. Okay. Seton Hall at Xavier. Seton Hall obviously riding as high as possible, Jim, right now. Played lights out against Mizzou. Then they handled UConn. Kai thinks they come back down to earth today. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm buying low, selling high here. Xavier got kind of smacked around at St. John's in the Big East opener. They're 0-1 in league play.
Hmm.
Seton Hall, big old home W, coming off 2 straight great performances, 1-0 in league play. Yeah, I'm coming in on Xavier here. Kai got it -3.5.
Yep.
It's no, well, maybe it's a little disrespect to Seton Hall. I think they're not as good as they played the last 2 games.
Right.
And we see them come back down to earth a little bit here because Big East home court matters a ton, as we've seen so far, except Creighton, weirdly.
That is
But yeah, but yeah, I'm with you on Xavier. I don't think Seton Hall fully exposes their flaws inside, and I think they just get a huge lift from the crowd. So yeah, Xavier.
Yeah, I agree. And Xavier's certainly down this year, obviously, without its front court. But Centos, still a tough place to play. It's conference season, right? You mentioned 0-1 versus 1-0. Seton Hall off those 2 huge games. The concern here for Xavier, obviously, it's the offensive glass. For Seton Hall, a top 10 in the country, offensive rebounding rate. And Xavier clearly lacks some competent size. The freshmen are going to come along. I think they have some bones there. They just haven't gotten enough experience quite yet in the front court. Xavier heavily reliant on guards to create offense. Hall's not a great defensive team. Mizzou scorched them. I mean, Mizzou actually played really well offensively in that game. They just couldn't stop them. And UConn was 4 for 21 from three. So I do think Seton Hall is riding a bit too high. I think X hit shots this game. I think Miller really game plans the victory here, gets the cover. I like Xavier as well, Jim.
Let's do it, Kai. Let's ride the X-Men.
The X-Men. Chat Mob, part 1, Jim, I leave it to you.
All right, well, throwing it to you because Yoshi Matt is not capable of answering any questions, unfortunately. We're starting with Penn at Ryder, Kai. Penn laying 2.5. I'll tell you, I took a little Penn at 2, and I have been betting Ryder recently,
Yeah.
but I think Penn's better, man. Obviously, the line reflects that, so I bet them. What do you think?
I think Penn's a lot better. I don't think the home is much here. Not sure it's a big travel for Philadelphia to Lawrenceville. Maybe it is. I don't know. But I don't give a whole lot of credit to it. These Ivy teams, Jim, recently have been kind of poor, though. I know Yale had a great effort against Kansas, but Cornell wasn't great against Robert Morris. Dartmouth wasn't good. Brown obviously struggled with Siena. Not sure if that's a league-wide trend just because they're resetting soon for conference play. Maybe their exams are tough. Who knows in the Ivy League? But I do lean your way towards Penn.
Okay. The only other question we've gotten so far, Kai, is Kennesaw headed to Asheville. Owls +5 there. Do you have a take on that game?
I lean Kennesaw for sure. I think Asheville played out of their absolute minds against App State, and they're good. Obviously, Pember is one of the best mid-major players in the country, one of the best players in the country. But for Josh Banks, Jim, he hit 10 for 12 from three last game against App State. Played out of their mind. They're going to get to the free throw line a lot. I like the over a lot in this game. Kennesaw just is blazing fast. And I lean towards the Owls on the spread.
Yep, over's my best bet, Kai. Gonna spoil it now.
Nice.
162.5. Kennesaw gets everybody into a track meet. And with the offensive confidence that Asheville has right now, I think they are very willing participants in that. Even at home, you see a big game for Pember. I don't have a strong take on the side, but I do think we see tons and tons of points on both sides.
Yep, agreed. I'm on the over with you, Jim. So go points.
Beautiful. Let's do it. I think that's it for chat. Thomas is asking about Santa Clara Duquesne, stunningly on the outline.
It is
So
indeed.
coming up shortly. If there's any other chat questions, we'll hit them in section 2.
All right, let's do St. John's and UConn. No Klingon, no Donovan Klingon today for UConn. Definitely a big deal. He is their leader in net rating on-off numbers per CBB Analytics. Uh, but I don't think it's a killer. And UConn obviously is still a double-digit favorite here in the market. I think Samson Johnson gives them a lot of the defensive production they might have been losing with Klingon. The question is the depth, obviously, especially with Joel Soriano on the other end, pounding away, drawing fouls. Jim, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I still think even without Klingon, UConn owns the paint.
Yep.
Soriano's good, but he is one man. And I think with Caravan and with the way that UConn puts pressure on the rim via drives, and man, I just don't really trust St. John's defense. It looked pretty good against Xavier. They sort of figured it out and they went to a much more defensive starting lineup, taking Dingle out and putting Naheem Aline in. But man, I certainly lean towards UConn. And I just don't trust that defense going on the road. You got an 0-1 versus 1-0 here, where
Same
the
thing.
0-1
Yep.
team is way better.
Way better.
Obviously, yeah, the line is showing that. Kai, any I know Matt loves the individual revenge angle. Is Naheem
Yeah.
Aline going to go at his national champ buds?
No, I'm not scared of a lean, Jim. Uh, yeah, but back to the Klingon thing. UConn's other pieces are so good. I mean, Newton, Spencer, Caravan, Castle. That's enough to win. I think comfortably. Obviously, St. John's has improved the last few games. This is by far the best team they've played all year, though. By far the best team. I think it's a bit of a wake up call. I still like UConn, even without Klingon, even laying double digits here.
Same. It took a little -11. I think RJ Luis is supposed to be available for St. John's, but it just feels like the right UConn spot to me.
Yeah, I was hoping to get 10. I'm not sure it ever hit 10, unfortunately, but we'll see. Duquesne, Santa Clara. Thomas, here we go. Tough one here. Two good teams. This one's in Paradise, Nevada, by the way, so sort of a weird neutral site game.
The Orleans, where the WCC
Orleans.
tournament is. Yep.
Uh, Christoph Tilly battling a concussion for Santa Clara. I think he matters. It's likely he returns for this one. I think he almost played last game, but he didn't. But Duquesne's rock solid, man. They just don't make mistakes. They do nothing poorly. Uh, Excellent backcourt, very tough, scrappy front court, and they're very well coached. Maybe a tougher travel spot for them, Jim, but what do you think?
Yeah, that was a part of it for me. Like this one off before Christmas, going out to Vegas after they just played in Akron in that little like LeBron James showcase thing because Keith Dambrot coached him in high school. So that's a weird spot. But Santa Clara is in kind of a mini Arizona scheduled gauntlet. They played Cal, New Mexico, Utah State, Washington State, and then at San Jose State. Lost 4 of those 5 games, reeling a little bit. But again, I don't want to put too much, downer on them because that is such a strong schedule. Uh, I lean towards Santa Clara here. I think the spot matters a little bit with travel, and getting Tilly back is important because he's very, very productive inside. But man, I don't want to disrespect Duquesne too much, so it's not like I'm giving it out as a play, but it's a
Yeah.
lean on Santa Clara. I did not bet it, to be very transparent, but lean Santa Clara.
Yeah, I kind of the same thing. Ever so slight lean on the numbers, Santa Clara. Tilly not 100% scares me, and again, Duquesne can really play. I wouldn't underestimate them. They could easily be undefeated this year against some pretty solid competition. Okay, next one here. I saw this in the chat. Somebody likes West Virginia today. I think it's a Toledo alum who likes West Virginia. But Toledo is heading to West Virginia. I expect points in this game, Jim. Obviously, the market does too after slamming this one all day, every day of the opener overnight. But Toledo's last game, right? 0.86 points per possession against Vermont. 4 for 22 from 3. Obviously, this team's a lot better offensively than that. And the whole world knows that West Virginia's offense has improved with Battle, Farrakhan, Krisa in the fold. Your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, there's no team in the country that is less resembling what they have been this year than what they are now than West Virginia.
Yeah.
'Cause Jesse Edwards is hurt, so like the whole season they've been, I guess we'll rely on pounding inside to Jesse Edwards because our guards suck and we have no depth. And now they bring in 3 talented guards. They're a little bit erratic, especially Farrakhan and Krisa. And then you take Edwards out, and suddenly it's a guard-heavy team. And Eilers talked about running more. Again, that's reflected in the number being bet up as it has. But Toledo loves to run, and like you, Kai, I do not expect another kind of impotent offensive performance from the Rockets. So like the over there, kind of lean West Virginia, but I don't like backing them as a favorite. I don't want to lay points with them. It's just not a team I really trust to do that, especially without Edwards to kind of clean things up inside. So maybe stay away on the side. I like the over.
Yeah, Jack asked in the chat why the total steam so much. People people think West Virginia is going to play differently with guys in the lineup. That's
I didn't. You said Jack asked, and I just thought you said
oh Jack
jackass in
asked.
the
Jack
chat. I was like,
asked.
geez, what the guy didn't? What did he do? Why are you
Yeah,
calling him
no,
that?
people think West Virginia is going to play differently with these new guys in the lineup. Frankly,
And not having a rim protector
yeah,
like kind of matters too.
and they can't wait to the freaking morning to get more money down on it. But hey, I digress. Yeah, West Virginia is still not a great team. Losing Edwards really hurts. Toledo's defense is awful, so maybe they can finally get it going offensively. Toledo, obviously, we know can score on anyone. That's why we also sort of like the over here. Definitely love the over here. The numbers kind of sailed away on that one, on the total, unfortunately, for me. I kind of lean towards the dog. These power conference schools that are kind of limping, if you smell blood and you have a pretty good mid-major, it's not a bad bet, in my opinion. Okay,
Make shots. Make shots for
make
me one
shots.
time. West
Yeah.
Virginia and Radford did not do that last time out.
Yeah, hit shots. I forgot to write down the timestamps here. Oh, well, I got a couple. Last game here on the outline before more chat mob questions is Villanova at DePaul. And Jim, I think like we both thought initially, DePaul loves this game against Villanova. They beat them last year. They always play them close at home. But nay, says you in the data.
That's what I looked up, expecting to see. Oh, DePaul is like 7-1 last 8 against the spread in Chicago against Villanova. No, not so fast, my friend. Villanova 8-2 against the spread last 10 in Chicago, 9-1 straight up. The only loss was last year under Kyle Neptune. Whoops. But yeah, 4 of the last 5 Villanova has covered here. I just don't really think Villanova is going to be a good favorite because of the erratic nature of their games. In a Villanova game, you want to be getting points because there's a ton of threes taken on both sides. You don't want to have to worry about laying that type of stuff. So I lean to Paul here, Kai, but of course there are injury questions. Justin Moore with the knee injury for Villanova, and Caleb Murphy for DePaul. If he's in, that helps Nova. So
Yeah,
monitor that. If both those guys are in, that is a double boost to Villanova,
Yeah.
and I would lean that way.
Yeah, the Demons are just terrible. And Nova, maybe they figured it out after Creighton, or is it a big letdown? Right? Is it a huge letdown after an overtime emotional victory at Creighton? You're coming to DePaul. You know you're way better than DePaul. Could be that sort of angle. Justin Moore, his status is key. I like the under a lot if he's out. I still kind of lean towards the under if he's in. You rarely see double digit home conference dogs. It's rare. So it's tempting for me to go towards DePaul here. Maybe they get a friendly whistle, hit some shots. Maybe Nova's cold. I lean towards DePaul ever so slightly. Didn't take it, but it's the lean. All right, that does it. Chat Mob 2, Jim. Then we can give our best bets and let the folks enjoy their Saturday.
Watch some ball. Yeah, let's do that. Kai, Southern Miss versus Mississippi. This game is in Biloxi, home of some gambling in Mississippi there. Neutral site game. Nash 2 in the chat said it felt like maybe a dead spot, kind of a sleepy one for Ole Miss. Southern Miss has got Curbelo in there. What do you think?
I have not heard one person that likes Ole Miss in this game. It's Southern Miss across the board. Do that with what you will with that information. That could either be a good thing or a bad thing. It seems like Southern Miss is a better play double-digit dog here. I have not been impressed by them. I'm not sure Andre Curbelo is a big savior and really improves them that much, but yeah, I lean their way.
Yeah, I almost don't love that he takes the ball out of Crowley's hands,
Yeah.
which isn't great. Ivory is a question mark for Southern Miss, but the game has come down, both side and total. It's come down. I think, if anything, Curbelo's more of an over player because he just loves to run, get the ball, and like full steam ahead. Either erratic turnovers that lead to layups the other way or great passes that lead to buckets. So I actually lean the over against the money in that game, except it's a weird neutral site arena, which it's hard to really bank on that. All right, Kai, Eastern Kentucky getting 25 at Alabama. Speaking of teams coming off schedule gauntlets, my God, Alabama has to be happy to be home in a bye game. Do they just obliterate the Colonels in this one?
Yeah, I kind of think they do, Jim. Eastern Kentucky's been one of my most disappointing teams this season. One win against D1 competition. You know, their free throw shooting is horrible. Now, they've allowed the worst three-point percentage in the country this season. That's going to regress. I think they're a really good bet-on team in the A-Sun. but they're at Alabama, they're at Purdue to finish to finish the year. It's brutal. I like the over, Jim. I think Alabama names their scoring number. They score 100 points at least in this game. I think EKU can score. They have a lot of talent. So the over is where I'm going with that one.
Yeah, that should be ping pong up and down. And it's one of those where 25 might feel big, but if there's going to be
Mm-hmm.
78, 80 possessions, it starts to feel a little less of a mountain to climb. So I do lean Alabama there too, and a little bit of a get right, maybe even first half where they smash and
Yeah.
then kind of go to bed before Christmas. But yeah, lean towards favorite and over there. Kai, we also have a question in North Texas versus UT Arlington. Little Texas battle there. Arlington just played Texas Tech fairly competitively 2 days ago. Anything for you on that game?
I lean towards Arlington a little bit here. North Texas been way better than I expected. We mentioned this in our podcast. Top five free throw shooting team in the country just surprised me. 80% from the line this year. They play really solid. They're clearly well coached still. Ross Hodge has taken the mantle from McCaslin. They force a lot of turnovers. Maybe Arlington's better now with Russ in the lineup though, and that stat's a bit misleading. I just think they're a lot better team with him in the lineup. So lean their way and the assumption that they're still kind of undervalued.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too, Kai. If they're +8 right now when most of their games don't include Russell per
Yeah.
KenPom, like that tells me it should be a little bit lower in my opinion. Although I watched that Texas Tech game and Russell just shoots anything he wants, like
Yeah.
28 feet, just bombs away, and it's like, wow, how green is your light, my man? But I do lean their way, kind of a slight lean to the over. Market's actually betting it over, which is surprising for a
Hmm.
North Texas game.
Yeah.
All right, Kai, last one in the chat from Nash 2. Missouri State and St. Mary's want the under for a late night sweat. And do you have any take on the side?
I love St. Mary's on the side. So did the people that bet super early in the market. It got to 14 and a half before you could even blink. So no play. Missouri State, why would they be up for this game? It's a really weird travel spot. They're going all the way to Moraga, and they're coming back for Christmas break and then into conference play. So horrible spot for Missouri State. I like St. Mary's. I'm not going to lay 15, but that's the way I lean.
Yeah, lean that way too. No Matthew Lee for Missouri State.
Yep.
I think matters. Offense has been worse. So I don't have much of a take on the total because I don't really know if St. Mary's is going to go nuts like they did against NKU and put up 90. Especially if Missouri State's not real engaged defensively, but I do lean towards the Gales there. I think it's tough to find a way to back Missouri State even at that high of a
Mhm.
number. Oh, kind. We did not talk Vandy versus Memphis
At the
from
buzzer.
Renzo Bros. Yeah, big game in state of Tennessee here, but also a huge spread. I don't actually know Van Allen Lubin's status for Vanderbilt, but the numbers come down a little bit, Kai. People aren't
Yeah.
buying into Memphis as a huge favorite.
Yeah, I mean, if it was 20, like Kim Pom says, that's too high, man. I know Vanderbilt sucks, but 20 points, come on. What's it now, Jim? Like 16, 17?
16 was last I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, can't take 16. I'm still staying away. Vanderbilt clearly not good this year. They've beaten one team in the top 250 in Kim Pom this season. Played a tough schedule, but still not a team you want to back. Memphis is very scary, but it's still a lot of points.
Yeah. Anytime I think Vandy's getting closer to healthy, somebody's out. Colin Smith now out for the year, their best rebounder. That's a real problem. Yeah, they're in trouble against that athleticism. And Tomlin likely playing for Memphis. Yeah, that's it. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Oh, Kai,
Well,
best bets.
best bets. Here we go. Yeah, Jimmy, mission yours. You like the over in
Yeah.
Kennesaw?
Yeah, Kennesaw and UNC Asheville over 162.5 was available when I said it there. Again, just think it turns into a track meet as all Kennesaw State games do. And UNC Asheville is very confident offensively after their massive explosion against Appalachian State. So that is my best bet. Kai, what about you?
I will take. Also, hit the like button, please. Please do. We have the percentage of likes to views right now is low. Let's get the likes up, please. I like Providence. Providence -6 is still out there. That game starts in 30 minutes. So early tip, hoping Butler's a little bit bleary and had a few cocktails on the plane this morning, and Providence pulls it out at the dunk -6.
Beautiful. Kai, I believe there might even be some. There was a 5.5 for a second. It's gone. So
Ah,
never mind.
oh well.
Thought I could steal it for you looking across the board, but
Yeah.
that is alas not the case.
All right. Well, hey, we'll see you guys in 2024, I believe. Now we have a show next week, right, Jim? Yeah.
We've
Is
got,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Not quite
Yep.
2024, but yeah, Saturday show again. Podcast, I think, on Wednesday as well, if you're into that sort of thing. 1 p.m. on this YouTube channel, 1 p.m. Central. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. It helps us out. Will help us hopefully bring back the show on a more regular basis, more daily basis. Goodbye to Matt, Yoshi. Have a good one. Good luck in your best.